If I lose a degree, I'm going to kill myself. So the first thing I want you to learn from me today is the question you asked yourself when you heard me being announced. That's the first thing I want you to understand. You're wrong. Okay? Be open to that idea that you are wrong, because it's so important. And you two are late. Where have you been? So the next thing I want to tell you is that when you're kind of wide awake, you start learning things all the time. And I do own a business, and I do employ people, and it's grown really rapidly. So we really have grown about 10 times in volume in the last 3 years. So I've had to suddenly realize that I have staff, and I have offices, and I've got a studio, and I've got the means of production, to quote someone in a red overall. I'm now the owner, and I'm responsible for all of these things, right? But something struck me on the bus yesterday, coming from the airport to the plane. I looked around. I have this habit on a bus. I don't hold on. And I don't know why that is. I think I recently snapped my bone at the hip, my leg bone, because I was skateboarding and I broke my leg quite badly, and then I couldn't skate for a while, and I couldn't surf. So when I get on the bus, it's kind of like my rehab. I bend my knees and I go with the motion. And what I because it's a very big skateboard. I mean, it's amazing when you've got a huge skateboard that size, right? But my obsession with South African people, because that's truly what I love, and that's who I service, and that's what I care about. And when you get really clever, you realize that I'm not just loving South African people, I'm actually loving everyone, because we're all people. But what I realized is the reactions of the people around me, all hanging on for dear life to that little piece of leather, which is almost like an emergency. If you don't hold the leather, you're some kind of devil child. Why are you breaking the rules? Why are you doing this? It's really simple, and it so perfectly describes how my business works compared to my larger competitors. Most people are taught that you have to hold on to the structure. It's a big structure, right? So you hold on. But then what happens is all of your internal coping mechanisms, the small business, switch off. The individual becomes useless. All your gyroscopes, all your antagonistic muscle systems stop compensating. And everybody hangs, and you see them, like they lose all sense of, we all struggle together. That's a big corporation for me. It's this big thing where individuals are chained to a moving structure that is cumbersome and slow. However, the small business can actually stand on its own 2 feet. You can keep your eyes open and use your senses and look through the window and anticipate what's going on. And you can actually find that you have an incredible coping ability. So I am a big fan of what was said earlier about becoming more agile, becoming more nimble, much quicker turnaround times. Those things are so important to me. I know you're all shopping. When is he going to say a copter? I'm not. There's such good lessons if your eyes are just open, and it was such a big thing for me because I saw old people, young people all clinging for dear life like refugees to those little straps. And it's kind of what's happening to big businesses. If you look at record labels, if you look at TV makers, those platforms are not the only ones anymore. There are all these other cheeky startups that are happening. Those are the people that are standing in the bus ready for the next move, and they're watching, and they realize that they've got a lot more potential than these big cumbersome systems. And obviously the big cumbersome systems are trying so hard to catch up. But you see, at the end of the day, if we keep fueling those ideas of these massive structures that are infallible, we'll only perpetuate that problem. You only have to ask a record label how they're feeling right now. They are so fucked it's not even true, because there's no need to go to a look and listen anymore. Why would you possibly buy a removable format? What is that flat disc of silver that in the 80s was like a spaceship? It's a piece of VHS rubbish. You would never buy that. You don't need them. Apple doesn't even put the thing in the machine. And it's like, you don't need that anymore. It's pointless. So I see my business as one of those. It's a naughty, cheeky startup. And about 3 years ago, we split the business into 3 parts. I know that I said that we did agency, we booked comedians. We do a lot of that. So it was like our big cash cow. We actually ramped that up to fund our split into other areas. And we realized that we were already making a lot of comedy for our clients anyway. So why not start a production business? But when the division launched, it was already full for the year. We couldn't put any more production work in. So it wasn't like we started this thing and then sat by the phone waiting. We just got going because we had so much to do already. Then we have the agency, which is our primary business, and that's where we kind of just do a lot of bookings. For you, agency means something else. For me, it's a talent agency. That's what we do. And then we went into exclusive management. We just manage 5 artists, and all of their whole life, we make sure that they don't have stupid debts and that they have a plan for when they're older. And we don't want them to be old, sad comedians, because that's generally what they are in this country. Comedians after 50, especially the ones, not the inked ones, the white ones. There's nothing left for them. They are the music industry of our business. So it's over for them. So we've made a commitment to younger artists that we won't let that happen. So that's what happened. We split the business up into 3 specialist areas, and it's really worked out quite well for us. But then the question is, like, if I look at all the things we do, right, people often say, so what do you creatives do? Because there's always this thing about, I'm a creative because of the way my hair is and I have earrings, and then I go to work without a tie, I must be a creative. You know, I always get that. Are you a DJ? No. I'm actually an art collector, asshole, but but instead of getting angry about it, I love it. I love the fact that I'm dealing with such prejudiced people. You know, I wasn't going to do anything hilarious today, but I was just in America, in Canada. It's very close, but it's clever. And so I just mentioned to them that we are a nation of madness. Like, I don't care what anyone says, how many World Cups we've done, how many Medivas we might have produced, and Bishop Tutus. We're not cool. This is not a cool country. It's not cool. It's like Breaking Bad with trees right now. It's a weird place, and we're all psychopaths. And if you don't know that, you're sleeping. Like, if you think you're cool, and I know I'm talking to people who like terminally think they're cool. I know that, and you fooled a lot of people, but not me. And we're not cool. We are psychopathic as a nation, and I mean all of us. We haven't even dealt with the racism that we have embedded in our hard wiring. Our children will, and their children will eventually get rid of it. But all you can hope for now is that you are a racist who's aware of it. Like, that's all we need. So